saw the plan from Mitcham to Croydon, from London to the world. Every flag he planted said, you matter, you're hurt, but there's a man who finds you in the quiet.
Yes, I literally tried to find you, Christiana, and here you are. Literally had to find you. Yes.
What do you mean, find me?
I'm the one who finds them, Christiana. I find you. That's what Mike's song is. Mike's song is brilliant. I haven't heard your song that he did for you. I'm yet to hear it. So
you have heard it. Remember, it was 5 minutes long in the first place.
Yeah, Mike. I don't mind if 5 minutes long. I was still, basically, I've learned to take a minute of it for our start video and to create that.
I'm going to try and
let me start my YouTube that way. At least I get a view. I'll get more, but for now, just one.
This is taking forever. My laptop is seriously messing about today.
Yes, that's why we're late.
It doesn't actually help. Sorry, folks. It doesn't help that I have a few tabs open at the same time.
You think you got tabs open? How many tabs do you have open?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I've got many.
You'll tell me off.
I've got about 30 tabs.
You got 30?
30.
Okay.
Which is not bad for me.
Oh, 13.
So, 30. Dr. Yvonne's here, which is
30.
That's Dr. Yvonne says.
So mine beats yours.
Well, how many do you have? And you wonder why you compete to struggle. 45? Yeah, so welcome everyone. Dr. Roxana is here as well. So
yay!
Anyway,
Dr.
We are here.
It's been way too long.
Yes, I agree.
So
of course, Linda's here as well. So
try and find the song.
Annie's here too.
My apologies.
Annie's here. Can you believe that?
And for those I haven't, those I haven't seen this year. I know it sounds strange. Happy New Year to you.
This year,
oh my goodness.
That's so terrible. That is terrible, Christiana. Where have you been? What have you been up to? This year, we're in April. A third of the year was A third of the year is gone. Nearly a quarter of the year is gone. Well, a quarter of the year is gone. So nearly a third of the year is gone.
The year still feels new to me.
And you know what comes after you get to a third of the year, right? It's summer. Then you're halfway through the year.
Exactly. There you go. Let's say better late than never, right?
If you're for the first time now, it means it might as well be never, right? It's close.
I'm not doing the show for the first time.
It's close.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Anyway, what have you been up to, Christiana?
So I've just sent you the link for the song that Mike wrote for me.
Okay. Thanks.
And that's it. Is that the first one or the second one? I cannot even tell you. Quite frankly. Annie, it's so good to see your face.
Thanks.
Great. Oh, your face is here. Yes, I can see your face now.
Yeah, I'm on a different tab altogether. So I'm less. Okay.
So help me to understand, what is this thing with the new, Restream? What happened to StreamYard?
StreamYard came a cropper when they tried to rob me. I will not be robbed by anyone. I refuse.
I've not heard that expression in a long time.
How you doing, Linda? So thank you for joining us as always.
Hi, Linda. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
It's not a secret. No. StreamYard suddenly decided that I'm a business, even though they didn't know. When I signed up,
Just you.
they ask you about your business details. They want everything, even your VAT number and all that, right? So
Of course,
you
like a
know,
bank does.
you're right. And then they start telling me 3 years or 2 years later, you're a business, so we have to charge you £300 a month. I'm like, no,
Oh,
no chance,
okay.
no chance for the same thing.
So
I'm like, no.
how did they come to the conclusion that you were a business when they had you all this time? What changed?
They suddenly decided they're going to try and inflate the prices and try and see who's going to stay here, who's going to stay, who's going to go. That's the long and
I
short of it.
see.
So I messaged them and said, no, I'm not having it. I'm going to leave. And then they replied and said, okay, you can stay on your current package until your renewal in a year's time.
Oh, okay.
That's what I
That's
thought. I
kind of
thought, okay,
them.
it's fine.
That's kind
I'll
of them. Yes.
right. I thought I will grace you with my event still.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I looked randomly and saw that my renewal was some 23rd of February. I was
Oh,
like, yeah, I'm gone. Bye. And I was gone. Bye.
that's loyalty for you.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna give people, if you're gonna charge people more, you have to give them more service, more value, right?
Yes,
And
this is true.
you can't just raise your price willy nilly and then give them nothing because
Yes.
rightly some will leave, but most will leave,
Hmm.
and that's what that StreamYard's lost. I'm sure they don't really care. Those are my friends are still on StreamYard, which is cool. Levine, I haven't seen you for so long. I
Hi,
haven't seen you for
Levine.
years. I've seen
So
you
good to
now.
see
How are
you.
you? How are you? It has been a long while. So Mike is here as well, right? Mike, I'm gonna play your song when
Oh.
Christiana lets me. I don't know. I say, let
So
me
I have a
see.
question. To
You have a
spec or not to spec, here are some of the changes that I've been experiencing behind the scenes that I haven't spoken about or talk about much. You already know this, Annie. The question is
I
to
do.
spec or not to spec.
Ooh, we'll have to put you on big screen for that. I like them. See,
Well, I didn't want to have any color frames. I wanted something kind of really bland and really um, understated. That's exactly what I got.
understated.
Mm-hmm. See, no
See,
fuss. I didn't want
see,
anything colorful, just with or without.
are they expensive?
Oh, I have a I have a broken arm right now, Annie. I'll have you know.
You
So
see,
yes,
I should wear glasses, right?
right.
No, I
You should
shouldn't. No,
wear glasses.
I shouldn't wear. I should wear glasses because I can't see small print that I could see
Yes,
before. I'm talking tiny
fine print.
print.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that I read the bottles label today this evening. I was thinking, oh, my eyesight's not that bad, really. It's just that I can't see what I can't see, right?
Yes, it is. You're just
Right.
in denial.
So, any decides I'm going to wear glasses, but I'm not. But I can wear my wife's glasses and
However,
see.
yeah, you
And
shouldn't. That's
suddenly,
not good for your eyes. It isn't
and
good for your
suddenly
eyes
see
at all.
stuff, right? So I set about to buy glasses. The first one I bought were adjustables. I'm like, yeah, I like that idea. You can adjust it to suit your eyes, right?
Yes.
I love that idea, except they fall out of focus quite easily.
Yes.
Or maybe I broke them. Something like that, right?
But you've got to get one that is specifically tailored for you, for your eyes,
No,
and what your eyes are doing.
no, that's what I would not do.
Listen, mine was drastic measure. If you remember, I woke up one morning with no sight whatsoever. If anyone's watching this and they have issues or they're staring at screen too long or they work with screens 24/7, imagine this. You wake up one morning and your sights were gone. I couldn't see a thing, right?
Mm.
It was pitch black. No matter how much I rubbed these eyes, I'm saying to you now, there was nothing happening. It was just pitch black. Luckily for me, I know my house very well and I can walk in my house in the dark, right? But here's the foolish thing. I walked to my bathroom and was trying to have a look at the mirror to see if I was really couldn't see. What was that all about? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I think in that moment, it was the panic and the fear that kicked in, because how do I get to this point and explain to myself, like, I no longer have any sight, I couldn't see anything. And all I remember was my husband running up the stairs, why he heard my scream. It was the screaming that came, the bottom of the stairs. But I would say if anyone has any issues or anything, just don't ignore it. Get it checked out.
Is that bit? Is that part?
Get it checked out. You must do.
I refuse to go to the opticians. I refuse.
As you also know, I was at my friend's funeral 2 weeks ago. When you ignore things, he literally dropped dead at just turned 50 of a heart attack that he could have checked out and didn't get checked out.
I'll take it.
Sorry?
I'll take it.
Don't ignore it. Please do it.
I will take it. I'd rather that than have some chronic illness. That
yes.
I don't like the idea of being chronically ill for any amount of time. I've never had any illness of that type, so I'm not prone to go to rush for medical care. I'd rather just wake up dead one day.
Oh wow! So you just said that live on air. What's wrong with you? Or should I say, more to the point, what's right with you?
Bring it back to the glasses conversation, right? I'm the one who will go any shop, and buy glasses I see, right? Reading glasses.
Yes. And
amazingly, they work. Well, they all work. There's two ways of looking at this, Christiana. Either you say my eyesight's not that bad, or you say
terrible.
It's not. I haven't. Some people.
You're just in denial.
I'm not in. Some people have eye conditions that needs treatment.
In the River Nile. They're still in River Nile.
No, I just need glasses for really very tiny things. Otherwise, I can see as far as I know as ever been able to. Yeah. My wife can't see most things, even with her glasses on. She has prescription ones, and prescription glasses make your eyes worse every day. Dependency.
That was your nephew.
How you did? Oh, look at you, glorious again. Anyway, look. Mike, ignore Christiana. Ignore her completely. Mike says, have to shorten your song. No, Mike. I'll play it now. Should I play it now, Christiana? Can you hear us?
I think it's the let's listen to it. I'm hoping I've sent you the right one, not the wrong one.
Let's listen to it, and then I'll just choose a minute for our starts and our end videos.
Is it the right song to begin with?
Yeah, share screen. Okay, I'm there. Right, here goes. Sort out the volume. Yeah, volume is full. Okay, here goes.
Oh, this is the remix. Okay, let's see.
She's walked beside the broken hearted, a coach who knows the weight of dreams departed. Through her own valley of shadow and pain, she found her calling in healing from loss. With gentle strength, she holds what others fear to name, moving forward, breaking silence, ending shame. Every word she speaks on the subject of miscarriage, is drenched in wisdom and empathy. She teaches us to unlearn, relearn, learn how to find hope saw. One in 4 pregnancies, yet silence fills the air. She builds the bridge for those who've been there. Her charming way, her song, the soft-spoken truth, gives voice to pain in boardrooms forsooth. Through virtual screens, she holds each searching face, creates connection in the digital space. With quizzes, facts, and data, she makes it clear this conversation shouldn't cost us fear. She watches eyes, she answers every call, making sure that no one has to fall alone. True inspiration walks in human form. She weathered her own devastating storm. Now leads others through their darkest night with clarity and confidence. She brings the light. Organizations learn to hold their people well because she had the courage to tell every word on the subject of miscarriage is drenched in wisdom and empathy. She teaches us to unlearn, relearn how to find hope when the world seems to turn against our hearts, against our dreams. Christiana shows us what healing means. Together we move forward, no longer alone, breaking taboos that were carved in stone. Christiana shows the way to heal, making the invisible finally real. In wisdom and empathy, Jesus every word she speaks on the subject of miscarriage. It's children with empathy. She teaches us to unlearn, relearn how to find hope when the world seems to turn against our hearts, against our dreams. Christiana shows us what healing means. Christiana shows us what healing means.
Come on. You have to say that is
Wow.
just brilliant.
I always get it's when I'm
Oh,
reading
that's
Mike saying
hold on. Is it
I
me?
get choked up just hearing that song.
Okay, let me close that tab completely. Right, sorry about that. Now, Christiana, it is emotional, and I love my songs. I love the gospel's now feeling. It's like a call to action. Yeah. Look, Mike, I was thinking the
Mike,
other day.
Amazing.
A random thought came across my head. I thought, what if Mike actually created a group, a band, to play these songs?
Yeah.
It must be doable.
I think when I first heard the song, I asked that question. I was like, this is something that could be live, like materialized.
Yeah, truly.
Truly.
I don't know. So would I do the work it takes? I would tempt it. Because Mike, you clearly have a skill. It's not just me that says that, Mike.
He has.
Linda says, oh my goodness, but exactly that, Linda. Seriously, Mr. Curtis.
When I first heard the song, I was so emotional. I was like, oh my goodness. First of all, it was weird hearing my name in a song several times.
Yeah.
I had to switch up. I was like, I can't listen to this. This is just too much to
It's
listen
not just
to.
your name. I think it's the fact that Mike does the work. You know, he does the research. You know, if you listen to mine, it talks about from Mitcham to Croydon. Only he knows that.
Yeah.
Only he
Yes.
knows. And I grew up in Mitcham, and Croydon is next door.
Yes.
I worked across both places. No one else here that knows that, but Mike does.
Yes.
You know, that I find remarkable. So Sam's here as well. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, Sam. I will call you back. I missed it. I missed Sam's call, I think, this week.
No, I haven't seen him this year, so that's even worse.
Happy New Year, Sam.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Mike says I get choked up on hearing this. It takes me back to the emotional creating in that group. Mike,
I agree.
Well, I get emotional too. Seriously,
I agree.
Mike, you know,
all.
It really does. No, mine still gets me every time I hear it. Like it is show-stopping, Mike. No, you're a genius. Really.
You gotta send me yours. DM it to me.
I play for you tonight. I play for everyone now. I play a minute of it anyway.
So, but yes, it's one of those things where you, like I said, the first time I heard it, it took 2 or 3 attempts for me to listen to the song in full. It was just a lot.
No, it is brilliant, really. So Curtis says nice. And I really, you know, you can create an intro for saying. I tend to give our intro videos or intro screens, slide screen a minute or so. I'll get good enough to start doing videos, but I can't do it for every one of my friends, my hosts, my co-hosts. So that's why I don't want to do one. You know, so I may have a longer than a minute version. But I'll just take a minute, of the song the verse that we have, and go for it. Anyway, well, I think we celebrated Mike enough, right? Let's start the show. I'll let you start. There's noise outside my house. Let me go and see what's going on while you do your thing.
It is so nice to be here. I want to say welcome, Curtis. Welcome, Mike. Thank you for the beautiful song, always. Welcome, Linda. Welcome, Alavine, and those who are here, who are joining us. Oh, yes, it is called Seeing. Yes. Thank you. We appreciate you always on this show, and everybody else who's joined us. Coach Curtis, why are you not on the studio or in the studio with us? Come and join us on this this stage. In fact, anybody who would like to come and join us, feel free to come and join the stage. And we really love to have you as usual. We have great discussions here, and it's all to, sometimes it can be quite heartfelt and quite emotional at times on this show. But this is a show that brings you conversations that others wouldn't wouldn't think of or wouldn't want to have on their show. So we bring you those hard discussions, those hard conversations that are real. And we have had real people on this show to share their stories. So this time round, I guess I'm here saying once again, thank you for always showing up, for being our huge support, for turning up every time, and time and time again. And this show has been running since, I believe, 2024. Wow, 2024. That's a long time. But yes, it's so nice to have you guys here. Thank you for joining us. This show this week really was supposed to be held on International Women's Day. And I believe that it's always best to do things here on this show. For me, I tend to do things according to what my heart, my spirit, or the direction my spirit and my heart tells me. And so it just didn't feel right to do this when it was supposed to be done. And so we're doing the show that should have been done on International Women's Day. We're now in April, as we can all tell. And I really felt that this had to be honored. the show, especially when theme, this year's theme for International Women's Day was Give to Gain. And so, how do we give to gain? We give to gain by sharing our stories and by through supporting each other, through sharing your stories. You are giving by sharing your stories. And those who are able to then be empowered, to then be, encouraged, supported, seen, heard, loved, enough with strength to be able to tell their story, to be able to share their story. That for me is the gaining part. So I really loved the theme this year, still love the theme this year of Give to Gain. And so we're here discussing the impact of miscarriage. And for some, and I keep hearing this time and time again, for some, in some spaces, this topic is still stigmatized. This topic still has myths and misconceptions that is still happening, even though we are in 2026. And so that really got me thinking, are we doing enough to ensure that we are sharing our stories? Are we doing enough to ensure that those who are experiencing this trauma feel seen, feel heard, feel understood, are given the space, place, and I mean safe space, not just any space, safe space, safe places to truly bring their hearts, to truly bring, their feelings, their thoughts to that space to share and to feel like they have a cushion, they have a place where someone can say, okay, we hear you, we're here for you. Are we still doing that? And as you guys know me, I do the recent conversation. We have discussions off and online, and a lot of the times conversations offline end up online in my show. So so once again, here I am bringing you this show about from pain to purpose. When going through that pain, when experiencing that trauma, some feel seldom strong enough to be able to see ahead. My clients tell me they really can't think of anything else. They're so consumed with processing what they're going through. And as I like to do in this show, if you've been here long enough, for those who've been here from the start, I like to do my shows with a good, a tiny, I would say tiny bit of stats. As we know, 1 in 4, some say 1 in 4, some say 1 in 5, will experience miscarriage and baby loss, miscarriage or pregnancy, baby loss, whichever you've experienced and whichever falls in to, yes, whichever your loved ones have experienced. So 1 in 5 will experience that. 1 in 8 couples experience fertility challenge or challenges for some, because there's more than one challenge. And so that at times can lead to miscarriage or pregnancy loss or baby loss as a result. And that's the harrowing truth. No one is born with everything. No one is given the manual. When we become pregnant, we think about the journey as a positive one. We think about how that child is going to look. We think about, the nursery. We think about what clothes we're going to be buying. We think about the celebration. We think about the positive aspects of pregnancy. Nobody really walks around thinking, am I going to experience a miscarriage? And so when that happens, when the trauma happens, it hits even harder, because when and if anybody who's been through this will understand this, when you have a being inside of you, your instinct is to do everything to protect that being. And so when a loss occurs, what happens is this: you feel helpless, because how can you not protect what's inside of you? How are you not able to protect from a mother's instinct, from maternal instincts? Your first thought is, oh well, my first thought was, how could I not protect this being that's growing inside of me? You know, what could I have done differently? Or what did I do wrong? And that's the first thing that goes through the mind. You're thinking all these things. There are so many thoughts that goes through, our minds as those embody the pregnancy. But the truth is, miscarriage is common. It is common. The reason why it feels as though it isn't is because we do not speak enough about it. We do not openly encourage others to speak. We treat it like, and still treat it like, a taboo subject, a shameful thing to happen. We continue to stigma or stigmatize those that are experiencing this trauma. And what happens is the true impact of this trauma, the depression, the anxiety, the fear, for some, the PTSD symptoms that they experience, which honestly keeps them in that negative mindset. As humans, we are prone or predisposed to thinking negatively, because humans will go through between 12 to 60,000 negative thoughts. That's in a day, right? So we are already at a negative point. So when we do experience trauma such as pregnancy loss, baby loss, miscarriage, it does really leave us finding it difficult to be positive at any point. And that also depends on the support networks that we have around us. And that's the question. If you're going through this right now, do you have the right support? Are you able to really clearly state what support you need, be it at home or in your work or business environment? How are you navigating this space? So really, with it being, International Women's Day, I really wanted to urge women to come forward. January and February this year, we focused on men. We got to have several conversations, and I know that Curtis was here and Connick was here as well. We had wonderful conversations about how men are deemed to cope, to navigate this same trauma. Here's one thing that runs between the two very clearly, is this. Firstly, we're both humans. We're human beings, and therefore we do have emotions. Those experienced trauma will have sadness, will feel, anger, will feel all of the emotions that comes with bereavement. And therefore, it is nothing to be ashamed of, or to be fearful of, or to be locked away behind closed doors and in secret. It should not be shrouded in secrecy, because your story could truly touch somebody else, could truly empower somebody else to be able to come forward and seek the help that they truly need. If left in isolation and in secret, could you imagine if we're starting from a negative point as humans naturally, and then having to experience trauma that leaves us even in further isolation? So that's what I wanted to bring in today. So if you're just joining us on the show, we, as usual, are speaking of pregnancy, baby loss, miscarriage, loss of this nature, and the true impact that it has on those that experience it. So those that experience it firstly as a priority, and the family members that it impacts. And for some household, family members are also children. So existing children that go through this trauma, that do not understand, and you have parents sometimes that are unable to explain what is happening, what they are experiencing. Because how can they when they can barely navigate or process what they're going through as adults? Imagine having to explain to your 5 year old that they have lost a brother or sister that they were expecting. And I have clients who've asked me this question before. How do we do this? I don't know if I can tell my 4 or 5 year old that their brother or sister they were expecting is no longer coming. I don't have the heart to do so because it's too heartbreaking for me and for them. So I'll land my plane there for now. Please feel free to ask any questions or to come up indeed on stage and join us. Let's talk about this. What is a true impact? What has been your experience with loved ones, with friends, with colleagues that have experienced this? And how have you been able to support them? And after that, we'll be looking into some of the legislations, especially with us being here in the UK. Nice job about stateside, but here in the UK, looking at what recent changes have occurred in terms of regulations, legislation to help those that are experiencing this trauma in the workplace. So, Annie, I'm going to pause for now if you're still there and if you're still with us.
Still with us. I like that. If I'm still with us, it was okay. To be fair, I did disappear, go outside, and move my car because we played.
Exactly. You said you were going to disappear anyway.
We play
So
crafting
I'm
games
checking.
around here. Literally, people don't move, right? So anyway, my car's in front of the house.
Is that the musical car? Musical
And
car.
at home, I got a driveway. I fight my son for it, to be fair. But here, you're fighting everyone. If you move your car, someone parks there straight away, right? Within seconds.
Yes.
I've shared the link. If you want to join us, the link is on the event page in the comment section. Otherwise, the link is here in the comments. You can copy from here onto your browser, or just go to the comment section of the event page, and then you can just click on the link there. Now, I think something you said. I mean, you said something about, you worry when, I guess when the baby is coming, right? And I think
It's that thing of parallel pregnancy. So what I was trying to say is, when the minute you know that you have a being inside of you, your whole existence is about protecting this being. It's about making sure that you do the right things, that you eat well, you sleep well, you do all these things to ensure that this pregnancy reaches full term.
Yeah, and if you just do if you just live and just do normal things, nothing can go wrong. It's a thinking, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, and yes. If you did do normal things, nothing will go wrong. It swings about both ways actually, because you can think that, but there's others who will think, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do X, Y, and Z. When you have those who, perhaps are into the exercises, and I can say this to you, speaking from a personal experience, right? During my journey, imagine during my journey, I was already a fitness instructor. I was, very much into my fitness. And so it was having to navigate. When I went through the first loss, I found myself asking the question, did I do something that could potentially have caused this loss?
Yeah.
Did I exercise too much? Did I not eat enough nutrients? Did I sleep? Did I get enough sleep? Did I get enough rest? There's all these questions you ask yourself because your head tells you this is the one job that I'm supposed to do, and I can't even manage to do this one job, right? So you do really feel like, well, if I can't do this kind of job, what am I put this earth for? And that's the reality. That's what hits for some women. And my clients have told me that themselves. I do understand exactly where they're coming from.
Yeah.
For those who perhaps haven't had, I would say, the best lifestyle from a nutrition, diet perspective, exercise perspective, they have their own too. It's that thing of, okay, should I have changed my lifestyle? Should I have changed this, that, and the other? Should I have, minded my eating habits and so on and so forth? Did I cause this loss by not really looking after myself? Right? And for some, you have the opposite. So you have those who are in fitness to begin with. When this loss happens, for some, they drive and lean into those habits to keep their mind active, to not sit and really think about what they're going through. For some, they don't want to process it. Like, actually, I'm just going to bury myself in fitness. In the same kind of way that men will take up more work at work, they'll bury themselves into their work. For some women who perhaps were fitness, had a high fitness level, they continue in that fitness, right? The exercising, the eating, the lean, the clean eating, as we call it, the clean eating, which takes a lot of dedication and discipline to achieve. But then what that does is it puts you at risk of, to a certain degree, becoming unhealthy, right? Because now you're looking to be so lean, so fit. Maybe I did something wrong. I need to be even fitter than I am right now. I will lose so much body fat to a dangerous level. So it swings both ways. And you have those who didn't perhaps have a really good lifestyle previously, and now they're thinking, well, I need to start looking, keeping myself healthy. I need to start changing my diet, changing my habits, and so on and so forth. And that thought just plays in your head like a record over and over again, right? Leaving you with sleepless nights.
Drained.
Drained. When in actual fact, you should be at your most relaxed point, right? Taking on habits, fostering habits that will allow you to be at a relaxed point, because once you're relaxed, you can actually fall pregnant. The thing is, Emmy, and those watching, and anyone who's reading this will understand this, that's difficult to achieve.
Why? I mean, look,
it is difficult to achieve.
Let me go back a bit.
Go ahead.
So, Lisa, Menopause Genius, thank you for joining us. How are you doing? It's Thursday, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Happy Thursday.
It's not Friday yet. Well, she's the end of the week, right? She's a long weekend already.
She's a different country. It might be already Friday for her.
She's not ahead of us. Lisa, terrible you, terrible. Well, now, apart from Australia, it's Thursday, right? Right, okay.
Yeah.
Come back to our conversation. I suppose, as a man, as soon as you hear we're pregnant, I went into panic mode every day. I was in panic mode. I think what you said earlier was that you don't expect it to go wrong. I thought it was going to go wrong every minute of the day. And my nerves have never been so anxious for the whole 8.5 months.
Question. So did you have any issues before that pregnancy came along? It was just Annie and his worrisome mind.
It's just I think, like you said, everything that you are is built into that pregnancy. All my hopes, all my, I could picture the child. I could picture the change of life. I could picture being a dad. Even though I had 2 other kids, I could picture this kid being mini me. And so I just did not have the confidence that life will be so kind for it to just go naturally, right? To just and then, but even then,
Kumbaya.
Yeah, but even then, say the drama in the middle when the waters broke after 8 months.
Yes.
Not 7.5 months, I think. What,
And you're panicking even more at this
really,
point. I'm really
and
panicking.
beside myself is the word, literally beside myself. Looking at the calm one, thinking, this is not me, right? And but my wife was in the hospital, so I was like, okay, that's the best place for you. Of course, I was still panicking. There was no good news in any of this. There was no, you can chill, you can relax for a bit. This will be all right. And then sent her home, and then I panicked even more. And then 2 days later, I had to rush her back in the hospital. I had to drive her to hospital when she was in labor. I'm like, God, goodness me, this is as bad as I thought. This is terrible. Like I knew it would be, sort of thing. So that's number one. And number two, the
Yes.
second point I would make is, do you remember I sent you an article the other day?
Yes. So the soccer player for Americans and the football player for
right.
Brits.
And she was super fit, obviously, professional footballer. So she was super fit. But I think even the sports world has some take a different approach. Some just say, if you're pregnant, stop everything. Yeah, stop everything, because you never know what which thing can hurt you or the baby. We don't know.
It's a difficult one. Let me tell you, my third time round, I was put on mandatory, compulsory bed rest, right? And I rested, and I think for me that was what I was so frustrated about, and really just couldn't fathom, because at number 3, you're like, I followed everything I was told to do. I did everything that I was supposed to do, bed rest and this and the other, and don't do this, don't do that, and let's just get you through a certain threshold, 12 weeks threshold, and then everything will be fine and dandy. And I just think to myself, and I remember that moment just thinking, oh my goodness, I've done everything I've been asked to do. What more can I do? Like, what more can I do? Why? Why is this happening? And you hear, I remember my husband just saying to me, you need to relax, you should just, calm yourself down. And in my mind, I really wanted to blow, I really wanted to blow, but I was too much in shock to even think about blowing. Especially when we had called our consultant, bearing in mind I'm supposed to be on bed rest, I'm supposed to be monitored closely. We had called my consultant. Nobody came back to us until the following day. Right? And then when we finally had that call come through, it was so cold. It was so cold. It left me asking, where did our bedside manner go? Like, what happened? If the conversation was literally, we didn't get to few minutes, probably 2.5 minutes in total of conversation, and then being told, oh, it's okay again. And that did not leave me in a positive mindset. It left me. In fact, I think I'm gonna hold this one back. I'm not going to say what I felt like doing in that moment. In that moment, let's just say it wasn't going to be positive, but I had to keep positive, Annie. And that's the thing. In different spaces, there is an expectation in different spaces, and this will take me back to just really talking about briefly historically. When it comes to this type of bereavement, the UK didn't know what to do. Nobody did. They were lost at sea, as far as I'm concerned, because at work you couldn't take time off. There's no such thing as miscarriage, or baby loss, bereavement. It was normal bereavement. You had a week off. I don't know if you remember this. They would say things like, if it's a close one, whether parent or child, then you can take a bereavement. It used to be taken under sick leave or unpaid leave. That always blew my mind. It still still does until recently, right? You lose a pregnancy, you lose a baby. You've got to take sick leave. You've got to take unpaid leave or unpaid leave, right? No, I wasn't. I'm not sick. I just went through a huge trauma. Why did we wait this long to get to this point of giving us a week to 10 days for the loss of pregnancy, for the loss of a baby? And look how long it took to arrive at this 1 week. Okay. And also now you have partners who can now also um, claim on bereavement leave for loss of a baby or pregnancy. That wasn't the case. There's still a long way to go on this, Annie. There really is. You know,
That's a very long way.
and then when I think about it,
Mm.
that's these time scales are for those that experience loss of over 24 weeks, right? So 24 weeks and above. Because
Yeah.
if you are 12 weeks, if you are less than that, it is not even recognized. You know?
See, this is where I think the topic today becomes an important one. Something tells me, which is part of my panic, and I think this is part of an issue of humanity that we seem to have, which is that I don't think many women give enough credit to the pain that they feel. Maybe not credit. They don't shine a light. They don't. No,
Highlights, bring
yeah,
awareness of.
why do you feel that? No, why do you feel that pain? And I suppose the way I look at it, if you think, Me Too, for example, the women's movement, it's taking 2026 years to get women actually recognized to start talking about equal pay, and are you with me? And equal rights. Even though some may think something, they might think we've gone too far. Some will think we have equal rights, but it's nowhere. Gender equality is nowhere near it, right? I say that's the whole of humanity. Half of humanity is fighting for this, for this equal, for this women's rights, right? Whereas on the pregnancy front, many more people suffer or experience baby loss at various stages, but they don't seem. I don't think there's a they. I don't think we have a collective movement, a sharing of truths that I've experienced this. I'm traumatized. I'm in pain. And certainly not enough people taking it on themselves to use their pain for purpose.
And that's one of the things that we still need to speak about. This is the reason why conversations of this nature is so important, because imagine what I've just said to you now is deemed as a historic moment. It should not be deemed as a historic moment, because there needs to be more being done. There needs to be more being done, not just being done, but we place importance on things like this in a really, I call it in a really weird way, right? This should not be seen as a historic moment. It should be a moment whereby people come together to challenge this. Because when you say it's a historic moment, if you're asking people to having to fight for something that is within their rights, right? We're also forgetting the Human Rights Act of 1998, if I can go back to that. The rights to family life. The right to family life should have kicked in a long time ago, and bereavement for miscarriage and baby loss, pregnancy loss, should not be happening now and been given the title as a historic moment. right? Because we had the regulations, we already had the laws. Why has it taken this long? The 1998 Act was in 1998. We're now in
Yeah.
2026. And there are people who've had experience and have struggled
Mm.
with miscarriage and baby loss and what this trauma we're speaking of now before 1998 and since 1998. So why is the employment rights bill, why has it been delayed for this length of time to this point?
Mm.
Is it because we do not deem family? Again, I would say some people may want to shoot me for this, but one thing I've seen with regards to our work environment is that the UK doesn't really foster family life. It is not
Mm.
encouraged. It really isn't. And therefore, when you are someone who's experiencing this loss, you're not the priority, because the priority isn't family life. But yet we have legislation that tells us about the rights to family life.
Well, I suppose I would say maybe one potential reason. Again, don't shoot me. I'm only sharing some of my thoughts, right? Yeah, I'm just saying,
Of course.
I don't think that people speak up enough.
No. Why is that,
I
Annie?
have, I have no
Why
idea,
do you
because
think that is?
if we spoke up enough, then the system would have to change, like all things. As you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, Christiana, if you and I said, right, let's write a group book of people who are experiencing a miscarriage, right, a baby loss.
Mhm.
I imagine there's a million and one people who could be in the book. Would they want to
Yes.
share their story? Maybe not, because not because they don't want to, more because many don't think they've actually have a story to tell. I think,
Hmm. Or don't know how
yeah,
to.
okay, maybe I don't know how to say. I don't know that, but I think being able to articulate the source of our pain or the experience of baby loss.
Hmm.
Because now when you can name it and when you can point out to what happened, so to speak,
Yes.
then we can begin to say, okay, where can we make improvements? What can we change to increase the chances of a successful pregnancy? Yeah. I think
Yes.
many people don't know. They never ask that question. It's just taken as a, oh, it happened.
That's a given.
And,
Hmm.
and I'm looking at Lisa's name. I'm thinking, it's similar to people in menopause. Almost like
Mm.
for generations who have never asked the question, how can we support people in menopause? And then
Yes.
now, at least now, the conversations are happening, and now there's policies being formed.
But there is that fear. And the other thing is the fear. So that the survey that I carried out in 2021 told me a lot about what was happening or what is still happening until now. It's that fear of people speaking up. And what tends to happen in situations like this is when you're operating in
Mm,
isolation, because in most workplaces, you're not going to, again, we have 1 in 4, 1 in 5 experience this trauma.
mm,
The likelihood of women or families or couples going through this in the same workplace at the same time,
mm,
um, it's very slim. So you're not now a collective, you are an individual,
mm,
right? If we had a
mm,
collective having these type of conversation, even in companies that are global companies, you don't often get individuals. How do they seek out each other first of all to get to know that they've experienced this, and they can come as a
mm,
collective and challenge the narrative in their work environment, right? Because that organization, that company hasn't quite worked out how to foster this conversation, this trauma, so people, the workforce, become comfortable in coming
mm.
forth, in speaking up, in seeking that support, in asking for the help they need. the support, the amendment, the adaptation that they need in the work environment, right? So because people operate in isolation, no one really gets to pluck the courage up. That's why storytelling and sharing your story, having that paint purpose, really helps to encourage others, to empower others, to make others feel seen, heard, supported before they can seek that support and help that they need. That's what in my practice I've seen, experienced, and seen, and from my own personal experience too, because we often work in isolation, right? It's not like you can go out there and riot about, baby loss. Where do you find each person? Yes, now we have different platforms that talk about this, and yet there isn't enough of it being spoken about. You know, so here was the thing: when we think about even wider wider developments, so Northern Ireland has also introduced their paid bereavement leave, right? From this year. So it's a global momentum that helps to build miscarriage leave policies, workplace grief recognition, trauma informed HR systems is what we need, right? When we do not have those things in place, what we find is workforce or individuals that are existing in isolation, right? In isolation and struggling. So why share your story? Why does it matter for us to share our stories? Because it breaks the silence.
Yeah, and
It
your
breaks the
pain
silence.
can help others. That's the point, right?
Yes, but the silence creates shame. Okay. So therefore, for us to eradicate the shame and the fear that we feel is by breaking that silence, normalizing the grief that comes with this trauma, helping others to feel like they're not alone. And that's the other thing as well. Clients have said to me, I'm in a big space, I'm around people, but I still feel lonely. Whether that's at home, in their own personal space, or in their work environment. In fact, for some, they they have more of a respite at work than they do at home, which is really sad to say. You know, the second thing is to reduce the stigma, which I mentioned earlier, because stigma will thrive in secrecy. And if you make this a secret, you'll always be stigmatized. That's why it's important that we tell our stories, we share our stories, our experiences. It means that, we can reframe miscarriage as loss and not failure. Because that's the other thing we tell ourselves. Where did self negative talk begin? My body is this. I mean, I said to women that come to me, fill the blank in. My body is this. So we changed the my body is not this to my body is this. You know, empowering people, changing your mindset for you to speak more positively about your own body. But where in a workplace do we do we talk about? Let's have a team meeting today where we speak about our bodies positively. That's not been my experience. I certainly not the experience of other women that I have come across. Even in team building activities, these conversations do not take
You
place.
see,
They don't take place in the
as
boardroom. Not
as we're talking, I'm thinking, if the women don't talk about it, the men certainly are a load more quiet, a load
mm-hmm.
more isolated. All the things you say, I'm saying, it's doubly worse for men, which is just, who no one even thinks about the men at all. If you think of, the women leave,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yes.
just not even thought about at all. So, we can expect, a woman to come
Yes.
and say, I just had a miscarriage, I need some time off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the boss will be floored if his
Yeah.
male employee came and said those words. What do you mean? I'm sure And look, the sad truth is that we live in a world where pet bereavement gets more attention than miscarriage and baby loss.
Absolutely.
Which is shitty.
Absolutely. You're spot on. But you're spot on. Do you know why? Because you can say to your colleague, oh, poor Johnny or poor Cleo. Cleo was so lovely. Look at all the beautiful photos around your wall and your table and everything
Of my
else.
cat.
Oh, cat mom, dog mom. But I hear these things at work. Let's be frank about it.
Nothing wrong with being a cat dad. I love my cats. I
Right?
have to say.
Oh, I'm a cat mom. I'm a cat dad. Oh, my cat died. Oh my goodness. Oh, what can we do for you? We'll buy you a whole, what's it? They buy you a whole hamper of this for yourself or that. Remember your cat's bio. We'll give you a scrapbook and blah blah blah. You're laughing at being serious. This happens in workspaces. We'll buy you a scrapbook and please those who are eating your pets, don't come for me. Okay,
I'm into my pets. I don't want any of those things.
honest.
Thank you. Yeah.
I am being honest. Don't come for me. But I'm just making a point. And the point is, we are so compassionate when it comes to animals and things. And we know what to say to our colleagues and people. But when it comes to the loss of a life, we seem stunted, in our conversation, or I should say in our compassion. Okay, our conversational compassion, we seem stunted. We're not sure what to say, how to frame what we're about to say. We're having to think 3-4 times, like, if I say this way, would they? And sometimes there are those who don't even think and they speak and say the wrong things, and here you are now thinking about, have I said the wrong thing? There is so much that is amped up around this, and the simplest thing you can really do is just put whatever it is you're thinking to one side and begin with a simple, I am so sorry for your loss. How can I help? If there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. I truly mean this sincerely. I'm not saying it just for the sake of it. Not, oh, never mind, you'll try again next time, or oh, it is God's will, or oh, how far God were you?
It's
Like
only
all that
10
matters.
weeks. It's fine.
Like it makes a difference. Yeah. You were less than 12 weeks. You're fine. When I heard that, I could have done some serious damage, but I had to compose myself. I really had to compose myself and say, you know what? Just breathe and walk away. Just walk away from the problems in your life. This problem right now in my life, I'm going to walk away from you before you become a problem in my life, right? Because your hormones are still with you, and that's the other thing as well. When you experience loss, those hormones, the pregnancy hormones, they don't disappear overnight. They don't. They're still there. You're still carrying them. You're still feeling those feelings, even when you still don't have a child inside of you, right? And people forget that, or they're not aware of that. Now, it depends on whereabouts you work or which family you come from. They're not aware of that until, especially those who've never experienced it, even those that have it. And this is something that that's really blown me, that I find with some women who've had children, who've experienced pregnancy, don't have the compassion. If women that have experienced pregnancy to full term are not compassionate, what are we doing? Right? To me, that's deep. What are we doing? And especially in the work environment, they're the ones behind the scenes that are saying, oh, she's just milking it. The language that is used, you pause and say to yourself, oh, maybe I would expect that from a guy because they don't understand, the pregnancy or me carrying pregnancy. But from women who've experienced pregnancy, who've had 2-3 children, you ask yourself, what is going on in the world? I find myself asking that question, what in the world is going on?
So I think that is part of the problem. Again, that women don't form a collective to say this happens to us more often than people realize, and it is debilitating. It's, it is a problem. I say, no, I think many women, let's say, they don't seem to want to mark it as something important, as some, almost. I think when you experience something, right, you have to, what you ought to, you might benefit from thinking about those behind you who are gonna experience the same thing. That's when you turn your pain into purpose. That's when you decide, okay, I'll use what I learned and how I manage to help others. But if you don't, but if you don't acknowledge that this is an issue in the first place, then
some cannot do that.
yeah, how, why?
And don't.
They don't.
Because it's too so let me give you let me give you an example. I had a client once who experienced this trauma. The first thing was being able to articulate the loss to an already existing child, and having been told, don't articulate this to your child yet, because you need to first process what you're experiencing, right? And also think about the fact that somebody in your family may have gone through this, because there's always a member of the family, and I mean female, that would have gone through this that may not have disclosed. So you need to do the work first. That in itself is a difficult thing to grasp, right? To grasp the fact that anyone in that family would have experienced this to begin with. Most women I've come across don't believe that that's the case, because they've never had the opportunity to hear, whether it's their mother, their grandmother, their aunt, or whoever else, cousin, sister, express that loss in that way to them. And therefore, they struggle with that being true, or they struggle more to the point, they struggle with miscarriage and baby loss or pregnancy loss being a common phenomenon. And so when that thought process goes through their mind, it becomes more difficult for them to want to share or let somebody know. With that being said, they do let at least one person. They'll always tell one person, that one individual, whether it's mom, best friend, somebody, or even a stranger on the train, before their own family. Right? Because if a stranger is not so close, the stranger may not judge them. The judgment is another thing that comes into this. The judgment seeks to retain the
Is it me or is it your phone? Could be me. Your connection slowed down a bit.
However,
Yeah, go back here.
if we can reduce the stigma, it will challenge the myth that we keep hearing, just try again. Like you're supposed to pluck it from a tree. It happens that quickly. For some people, it's taking 7, 10, 15 years to get pregnant and in loss. It will also help to educate families. If we can reduce the stigma, we can educate families, we can educate workplaces, we can educate communities with this.
I have an idea. Let's do some of the comments that are important for us.
Yes,
Mike, I agree with you. If you feel something, say something.
Yes, I do agree.
It's rare that we ever only once ever feel something to be in a situation. So Mike says also, this is true of trauma. Knowing you're not alone is massive to reducing shame. Indeed, this is a point where we must talk and just gotta keep talking.
Yes.
So Alavin, I see your amazing comments as well. Alavin says, having moments alone to process what we experience is powerful, of course. We're all lonely beings at heart. I was saying this
Thank you, Olivine and
the
Mike.
other day. And Olivine, I don't know which one to go next. Okay, let's go with this one. Let's go with this one. Being isolated is not a good thing. Then the flip side, right? Sharing leads us
No, it
towards
isn't.
freedom, healing, and therefore it gives us the ability to help others through the process. And is that bit I live in? Is that bit? Say Christiana is the only one I know who wants to help people through this process. I say this is something that most women will experience at one time or another. I know. So it's very. I guess maybe as Mike says, and I see you, I find you. And Sasha is one who are hiding in the corners doing great things, right? Because every woman goes through menopause, but no one wants to talk about it. Everyone, I think most women go through miscarriage at one time or another, or they know someone who has, in the family, in the friend circle, but they just don't want to talk about it, which is,
So, Annie, that's
there's no need for
50%
that.
of us, by the
Yeah,
way.
that's what.
So it's 50%
That's
of
what
us that know someone who's experienced, right? But we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Ultimately,
which as Alvin says, having a support system is important as well as talking with other children. A woman admitted once that she found peace when her parents told her that they had experienced miscarriage before her. This is the point, Alvin. Exactly.
absolutely.
This is look. We've got a whole year ahead of us, Christiana. So
We
anyway,
have.
we do have to go soon. Here's an idea for you, Christiana. When you sent me the title, I was like, "Ooh, that's an interesting way of looking at it." Maybe we don't call this room miscarriage and baby loss.
Yeah, it's from pain to purpose.
No, pregnancy.
The pregnancy covers everything.
Yeah.
Yes. But there are those already doing pregnancy.
Where?
Have you not seen them doing all kinds of pregnancy stuff?
No, I really haven't.
Okay. Okay.
I think it will reduce the stigma that we talked about. It will reduce the this doesn't involve me mentality. Whereas I think but we yes, we know that the baby loss is a part of pregnancy. I'm saying, and that would necessarily come into the conversation, right? So I'm thinking maybe it's celebrate.
But it's something that we need to talk about.
It is. It is. It's no. We'll still be leaning towards miscarriage and the supporting people through the past, the things that didn't go right, so miscarriage and baby loss, in other words, right? But we'll give people the window to celebrate the things that did go right. You know, think about it.
We could, yes, we could do that. I'll think about it because that takes me into a different space. We'll talk about it
I could
offline.
say,
It takes me to a
yeah,
different
think
space.
about it. Let's talk about it offline. You know, I can
But before
see
we go,
opportunities for go.
sorry.
As I can see opportunities for more topics, but they're intricately related. The two topics, right? I said
They are
no.
because you've got to get pregnant first before a miscarriage can happen. So I understand that. But when we talk about pregnancy is so vast. It is vast because pregnancy will come with things. There are different stages of pregnancy. So the pre-contemplation, you've got the the pre-contemplation. You've got to look at the planning before pregnancy, preconception, and then we have to look at the conception aspect, then the different trimesters, different things happen from trimester 1 to trimester 3, and then there is the loss in between all of those,
Yes, at
and
every
then
stage.
it's exactly, and then there is the um, post pregnancy or post loss, and there is all the experiences, whether from a body perspective, from body image to diet to nutrition. There's just a raft of things that pregnancy embodies, it is so vast. Specifically, we can talk about, pregnancy, um, the pelvic floor after pregnancy, what
You
that
try
looks
not to,
like.
yeah, try not to lean like that.
But that's
And
the thing. So there's so many things. I think no, I do believe that really keeping this to what we focus on
mm,
for me would make more sense, because once you go into pregnancy, you're all over the place.
mm,
It becomes really vast, And for me, if we speak of from pain to purpose, my pain became this purpose
mm,
ultimately, and hence the the relaunch of, from moving forward post miscarriage into baby loss 360,
mm.
which I'll be relaunching by the end of next month, before next month reaches. I'll be relaunching this to Baby Lost 360, as you know. I've been trying to cultivate this behind the scenes.
Mm,
So there's a lot happening behind the scenes at the moment that will come forward, that will come to that will come to fruition. So if we're speaking of pregnancy, and then organization being called Baby Lost 360, that in itself sounds almost contradictory. So yes. Hi, Mike.
interesting. Yeah, let's hear from Mike. How
Let's
you
hear
doing,
from
Mike?
you.
There were a few things that really hit me. Um, Something Annie said I wanted to start out with,
Hmm.
and that is men and not wanting to talk about this from the man's perspective. I think generally men are not open enough in
Hmm.
life in general, and particularly in the emotional side of life. We might talk about jobs and such, but I have to agree with Annie that this would be the last thing that you would want to go to your HR about and
Hmm.
ask for time off.
Mm.
Um, so that was the one thing. I'm wondering, is there is could you put, I don't know, pamphlets or something in pregnancy centers though, just so that there that because I think the stigma, the shame,
Hmm.
um, and that drives to me. I'm familiar with other types of trauma that drives you to self isolate, right? Which is so horrible, and just makes things worse.
Hmm.
So I'm just wondering if there's
Mm.
not, you don't kind of lump it in with pregnancy, but you have a pamphlet, or have inroads into those centers, and say, look, if you become aware, or maybe even doctor's office. I know this is kind, or gynecologists and stuff. I know it's kind of iffy, but as far as trying to publicize it, but I just think to gain the awareness, and then like you said, kind of funnel it
Hmm.
to what you're trying to do, I think is huge. Um, so
Hmm.
that's a couple of things, and then I had posted in the notes, or in the comments, that there's this, I can't even describe it fully, but I've been in part of groups that do it. You have, when you share your trauma or your pain, um,
Mm.
you understand, and this is in a good way, you're not that special. Meaning that what you're going through, other
Hmm.
people have gone through, and somehow,
It's common.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that somehow takes, to your point, like, not just the shame, but like, you know, woe is me, not woe is me, but because you're going to be going through that, but it's not just you, and somehow that helps. I don't understand. I can't really explain it very
Mm.
well, but and then to have people lean on, because there is a thing, like, you can get help from professionals, mental health professionals and such. It's not the same thing as getting help from someone that's gone through it themselves.
Hmm.
There's just something powerful about that. So that's what I have for you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for what you do. And this is so
Thank
important.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your song. Love it. Thank you, Mike. That's a good, really, really good point to make. I do agree. Yes, leaflets um, could be sent in or given to. Although the NHS have their own leaflets, and what that looks like is sending you for therapy or going to see a therapist. I can speak from a personal experience. Not all therapy is good therapy for you in that moment in a situation, and not all therapists are right for you um, in these situations. So, what really does help is having to find someone that understands what you're going through, the thought processes you're having, the patterns that dwell in your mind, um, and the message and the things you tell yourself as you go through this, and then understanding how you can, what next steps or what comes next. It's knowing, it's almost like a soldier having to explain to, you know, um, a potential a potential candidate who wants to go into the army or become a soldier. They can tell them all of the experiences, or they go into then become a soldier, and they come out and they know that somebody else have been through this. They have that affinity with them. They understand better what PTSD means for that soldier because they've experienced it. And no two soldiers experience, things in the same way. However, there's some understanding, you know. Annie, I think Alavine was asking for the link. So yes, we can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Uh, I
I,
wanted I wanted to add, Christiana.
Yeah.
I won't share exactly who it was, but
Hmm.
I was sharing at a conference, and this young lady had just a horrendous experience,
Hmm.
and she came up to me. So we were on a panel, and she came up to me after. I get emotional. She said, "Mike, you gave me hope," and I think
Mm.
for those that are sharing, like you are, that they can see the other side, right? So the affinities are very important. I agree with that, but that they can see the future.
Yes,
As they're in the
absolutely.
middle of this horrendous experience, they can see the hope.
yeah.
And again,
Hmm.
that's so important. So again, thank you.
It is. It's so important. I do agree. I can tell you that when I was on the floor for what felt like 2 weeks, you know, I didn't need a therapist. I'm going to be honest with you. That was the last thing on my mind. A therapist wasn't my first thought. You know,
Mm.
it was laying there and not wanting to leave that space, not wanting to leave that floor, not wanting to move, not wanting to have anything, not wanting to even wake up the next day and do anything.
Mm.
It would take my husband to really understand and be supportive, despite both of us having experienced the same trauma. Then to get to a point of somebody else who potentially understood or could understand. There was no one that was talking about miscarriage around me or loss. And the crazy thing was, I had witnessed miscarriage, baby loss, pregnancy loss, all three as a child growing up. It was never explained to me. But it was until I experienced was going through my own journey, my own experience, that the penny dropped. Like, oh my goodness, they were going through this because no one, but nobody had paused and thought, let's explain, or let me just alleviate this child's, you know, experience. Yes, you were involved in helping out, helping out, but it was never explained. And so the importance in sharing our story is really having to give others the voice. Because isn't it funny how the first thing that the whole world, those in the delivery room, get to experience is our voice to let the world know that we're alive, we're well, we're okay. When we come into the world and we have a voice, and at some point we lose our voices. And so for me, this is about giving a voice to others, not as a giving, facilitating a place where others can be heard, essentially. So my thing is, how do we tell our story without fear or shame? It's about reclaiming the narrative that your story is valid. Nobody can invalidate your story. Nobody can invalidate your experience because it's your own. It's as unique as you, that individual, being born who you are. That's how unique our stories
See,
are.
that could be the topic for our next room, right? Yeah, reclaiming your story.
Yes, reclaiming your story.
Mm.
Yes, you know, and there's no right or wrong way to grieve.
Mm.
It's another misconception and myth that I hear all the time. Oh, she shouldn't be doing this like this. She shouldn't be doing like, oh, he shouldn't be doing X, Y, especially when it comes to men. You want to tell men how to grieve? No, don't tell them how to grieve. They will grieve how it best fits them,
Mhm.
unless they are personally harming or endangering themselves or harming or endangering somebody else. A little bit like safeguarding young people, safeguarding our men. In those scenarios and circumstances, I would say yes, step in. But by all means, allow the breathing space, allow the grace and space, the safe space, especially. The second thing is release that self blame. See the negative self talk we give ourselves, whether you're a male or a female, it needs to stop. You know, you cannot dictate what happens in pregnancy. You cannot predict what happens in any pregnancy. You cannot control what happens in any pregnancy as it pertains to loss, right? Unless you do something that is directly a cause of a loss. For example, amniocentesis could potentially induce loss. Unless you undertake that procedure, and loss doesn't always occur. It's like playing the lottery in this case. The next thing is choose your safe space. I don't care what that space looks like for you, whether it means in your garden shed, whether it means in, I don't know, your friend's house somewhere, on the side of the road, in the car, wherever you choose to have your safe space, have that safe space for yourself. Whether it means going to groups, encouraging yourself, help or hearing other people encourage you to go and share in groups, whether it's faith spaces, platforms, like this show, wherever you feel the safest to be able to share this, please do so. Start small. And also, if you're in a space where there's no space for you to share it, create yourself as a safe space, which is what I had to do,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Start small. You can start by journaling what you're going through. These days, we have iPhones and all kinds of smartphones. You can speak into your phone. Although, if you're anything like me, I did a recording in that moment, and I wanted to put it on LinkedIn. Ask me, was I able to get it on LinkedIn? I couldn't. I tried everything I could. Still haven't posted this thing because my phone said no. My phone said no. So I'm going to add this to this. If you're ever thinking of using that piece of, journaling or that recording, be mindful of where you record it so you can use it. Okay.
Definitely.
Next thing, private
Mm.
conversations. Have lots of conversations. Keep talking because it's more painful to hold or to internalize your emotions. It truly is. Discuss everything that you want to discuss. Be real, be honest with yourself, and be honest with others around you. So that's what I want to say this evening. Do not suffer in silence because it takes more energy to do so.
I agree. Mike, it's a great comment. What are you thinking, my friend? What are you thinking?
Well, this is why I think it's so important for people like Christiana and others is to speak out, particularly where there's
Mm.
not awareness, right? And and
Mm-hmm.
I can't describe how powerful it is to have that other person pre what's the word I'm looking for, that has already been through it, is so
Mm-hmm.
powerful. And
Yes.
it just that knowledge that they've been through it, even before you maybe even process or and work with them, is so
Mm-hmm.
powerful, because I actually think that is the safe space, right? And creates a safe
Yes.
space. And um and obviously, with people like Christiana, she's going to make it, I think, even easier, just because of who she is. So, and I have to agree with you, Christiana, in my experience with psychologists is they just don't. Even if they may have some of the tools and be aware of some of the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same. Now, if
No.
you get really lucky, maybe, and find one, but I think even those are going to be very few and far between, or they haven't chosen to specialize. Um,
Yes.
so I can't tell you. Like I said, I keep on thanking you, but I think it's so important for all of us to share our stories, and particularly in a situation where we can bring some healing to other people. I think it's just so important, and to not be ashamed or anything like that. I just, again, I laud you and your courage, and you're awesome. And
Thank
you're
you.
awesome too.
He's a superstar. The
So
Godfather
are
is a
you.
superstar.
So are you, Mike. But
So are you,
you
Mike?
know that.
I,
Say that. I have no hesitation telling you. You have many talents. So we're blessed to have you do what you do. But
for me,
that's why when we have a community on LinkedIn, right? That's why we're all here. Yeah.
yes, that is. I want to say this before we close. Miscarriage, really, or baby loss, is not rare. It's common. It truly is common. And it is not a shameful thing. I don't want anyone that's watching this, whether now or the replay, that is experiencing or has experienced this trauma, sitting there feeling ashamed. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it's not something that you should be hiding at all.
Okay.
It's not your fault. It is not something you ate, something you didn't work too hard, you didn't do too much exercise, you didn't eat the right things. This is something that you cannot begin to apportion blame to yourself. And I have experienced through my practice stories of love, loss, and lives that mattered. You know, even before you get to birth a child, the pregnancy alone is one of love. Really hold on to that love that you felt for the whole being. Yes, they may not have made it on this planet, but that was love. And think about that love side as opposed to the self blaming, the negative self talk that we give ourselves, you know? And when we begin to move from the silence and sharing and telling our stories and encouraging and empowering others, we move from isolation to a community. That's when we really get to work on or get to pain to purpose. That's when we find our purpose. That's when we find that sweet spot, you know? We don't just move forward ourselves alone or heal ourselves. We really change the world. First of all, the world around us. before the world globally. We start small, we start from here, right now, right here where we are, and it causes a ripple effect. But the one thing that I would say that is in the middle of all of that is compassion. There has to be compassion, whether in your own personal spaces or in your workspaces or business places. There has to be compassion. Why? Because each and every one of us, we're humans first. And I always say this in our shows. We are firstly humans before we embody anything else. And so we must remain humans when this trauma occurs. And I land my plane there. I want to say thank you, Annie. Thank you to those that show up time and time again. So if someone asked me recently, how do I help people? When it comes to women and men, I will help you gain clarity and the confidence, whether that's be it's the confidence to share your story, tell your story, the clarity to find what your next steps are, the clarity and confidence to move boldly when you are speaking to healthcare practitioners. Because here's another issue, pregnancy discussion we can speak about, any right?
Mm.
When you're faced with healthcare practitioners who have been in their profession for a very long time, have seen every case, and don't want to listen to you.
Mm.
When you have that confidence, you can stand and say, I need you to hear me out.
Mm.
I need you to include me in the decision making process of my body and what's happening with me. That is so important because that's often forgotten when we're dealing with trauma. Our brain is mush.
Mm.
You know, I practice writing things down, write things down, whether it's a question, a thought, record it. It will help you when you're faced with forgetfulness because that happens when you're going through trauma. So you don't forget. And so it's important. Um, Really, I want to thank you guys for always being here, for always showing up. You are an amazing community, and I cannot believe we're still running this show. I have had a whole, I guess, month off behind the scenes, going through bereavement, going through other things, but I'm so glad to be back,
Yes.
and I'm so glad to see
Don't worry.
my people
Me and Mike. Me and
here.
Mike are always here. Me and Mike. Well,
Thank
Mike don't
you.
go away. So anyway, glad you're back. So of course, and then many more conversations. Do join us. Join us
Yes,
again in a couple of weeks and talk about the storytelling. Yeah, reclaiming your baby lost story. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I
yes,
like that one.
definitely.
Right. My next room is an interesting
Thank.
one. Do join us for next room in an hour.
What is the next room?
Oh, I'm trying to find my web page. So it is, I suppose, it's what do you do? How do you manage when people keep gaslighting you,
Oh
calling,
goodness, that's a good one.
calling you delusional, calling you crazy, calling you, basically just trying to, deny your truth and dismissing your truth. Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Any
Trust me, it's achievable.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike.
Go on,
any
Mike.
that is unfortunately so necessary today. I think because there's a lot of division,
Hmm.
um, and I think we get stuck in our echo chambers.
Yes.
And Christiana, I think that's also, I don't want to say that's any reason not to reach out, but the comment I had posted is even with people with best of intentions, just don't know. They don't know necessarily
Hmm.
how to help just normal grieving. It's a very uncomfortable, awkward thing to deal with in normal
Yes, it
normal
is.
stuff. And to your point, this isn't normal in some sense because um that baby wasn't fully formed, or maybe it was and you lost it in childbirth, or whatever the case is, or
Mhm.
even early life. I actually had my oldest brother lost his one of his children early, and I
Sorry.
I don't think, we didn't have things like this back then, so I don't know if he actually ever got to properly grieve, him and his wife both, actually.
Mm.
And I, to be honest, because of the way our family was set up, and my dad was suffered from PTSD and things, we just didn't talk a lot about it. And
Mm.
again, that's why I think it's just so freaking important to talk about me. As far
Yes.
as the gaslighting and things, I'm going through a period of time where I just have to realize I got to look within. Uh, and
Hmm.
from my faith perspective, I have to look at my faith, and
Yes.
and that's also going to be part of the grieving process as well. But um, I unfortunately, in today's kind of chaotic world, I think we really have to kind of get very comfortable in our own skin.
Yeah.
um and
I
so
agree.
I'm hoping to make this show any but I think it's an important it's an important thing to talk about in, unfortunately, today's world.
True, true. Well, now, look, I put a link in the comments that do join us. I'd love to have everyone. Like, it's been like come and share some of your strategies. Really, that was. I'm always keen for us to learn.
Mm. I am going to be painting whilst I'm plugged in. So we'll
I'll take that.
see.
Multitasking is not a bad thing, right? But thank you so much, everyone who's joined us. Thank you,
Thank
everyone,
you.
to comment. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mike.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. It's so good to
Awesome
see
to
you.
see you again.
All right.
Cheers.
Take care, everyone.
Thank
Join us in 2 weeks'
Take
time.
care.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
And he sees you. He sees you. He sees you. Oh, from the children with no voice in borrowed rooms, to the magazines that carry their truth. 25 years of the same steady hand, finding the ones who fell through the cracks of the plan. From Mitcham to Croydon, from London to the world, every flag he planted said,